it foggy outside. All the planes have been grounded. Ain't the fire inside? Let's all go stand around it. Funny, I've been there, and you've been here. We ain't had no time to drink that beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sandman podcast. I am your host, Brian W. Tosh, joined as always by our resident hack checker, Oliver Fullington.
Yo!
Our producer and co-host, El Hilo del Hack, Tyler Fullington. And the man whose stories got stories, the hardcore icon. He's got 99 problems, but bananas ain't one. The Sandman. Hack, how the hell's it going today?
Dude, it's going great. The PGA's back in the Philadelphia area. It's a lovely thing.
Awesome. You're hyped for the PGA being back in the area.
Yeah, dude, they've been here freaking since me and Ty saw them at the Open.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, they were here. Tiger had his thing in there too, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but that's great. And the other great thing is Boston blowing 2 20-point leads in a quarter.
Man, last night was game 2.
I know, but it's to the Knicks, our other rival. It's like...
No, the Knicks aren't a rival to me at all.
No?
Boston's a rival to me, not the Knicks.
Well, you poo-pooed that last year.
To you. So when you were growing up, the Sixers and the Knicks weren't...
Knicks were never good. Ever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they had Ewing, but they weren't like winning championships with Ewing.
Right, that was kind of different times of when the Sixers were good.
Right.
Like the 80s Knicks had...
I know, but still, in division, it's like...
Yeah, I've always kind of disliked the Knicks.
I know, but I guess if neither team is in the playoffs, really,
I mean, the Knicks eliminated us 2 years ago, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is more of a 60-year-old guy's vendetta, Boston, than like the Knicks would be to the younger guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I also hate Boston. I mean, even when Iverson was around, Pierce and Antoine Walker,
Pierce, that crybaby.
He walked. Did you see he walked today to the studios for his talk show?
Did he actually do it? I saw that he said...
He said yesterday. He said 2 days ago that if the Celtics lost, he was going to walk to work, and apparently it was like 15 or 20 miles, and he walked
in
to
a
work
robe.
today.
The whole way?
Yeah, apparently.
Because it was after they
for doing that.
After they lost game 1, he was like, "There's no chance they lose game 2. Like no chance."
It's kind of like OKC. You knew they were going to blow them out last night.
You thought so, and then they did. But then once they got up big, I was like, is this going to be like how every other game in this playoffs is? Like, team
I
gets
almost
up
wanted to bet the other side.
I kind of wanted to, too.
I know you're sitting there, you're like, yeah, they're up 20. We got them right where we want them.
Exactly. Yeah, Jokic should have yelled at the team again like he did the other one. I'm so hyped to see, like, the Garden on Saturday. I mean, this show's going to come out Monday, but the next
going to be rocking.
It is absolutely...
I wonder how many Boston fans are going to be in there.
Not many at all. I mean,
they said lowest ticket for Saturday or whatever on the resale
like
market
$1,500.
is $600.
Yeah, the get-in price is like the most expensive they've ever seen at the Garden. That's just to get in the building.
Right.
$600 seems low to me.
Boston favored by like 5.5.
Oh, are they already?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, look, you figure Tatum and Brown aren't going to be that cold from 3 the entire
You
series.
can't go down 3-zip, and yes, maybe they can stay that cold.
They could. I mean, yes, it could happen. I mean, we could be seeing.
And they missed Porzingis a bit.
They missed
2 games.
They missed Porzingis bad.
Like,
dude, Porzingis just played half the games for them. What do you mean they miss him bad?
They do, though.
He doesn't play a shitload.
Regular season basketball is different than playoffs.
I know that.
You're going against Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like Luke Cornett's out there, fucking Horford's out there.
Right, and Horford's serviceable and everything like that, but dude,
Barely.
when you gotta guard Porzingis past the 3-point line. Like,
Right.
no, like, you know what I'm saying? You can't. It's totally different. Horford can hit his threes, but he ain't Porzingis.
And I just hate Porzingis too because he never wanted to come to the Sixers.
Yeah.
He's like, no, dudes, don't draft me. I'm not even going to come for a visit.
No, I remember.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
I
The
wanted
Knicks
him.
drafted him, and they still suck.
Yeah, they did. But, the Nova Knicks, they seem to
Yeah,
have
you would have
something
been
going.
better than Okafor that year. Who did we pick that year?
Okafor.
Yeah, I think that was the Okafor year. I mean, yeah, would have been better.
I mean,
but-
Okafor had a solid rookie year.
yeah, but he just
It
didn't.
went downhill after that.
Because Okafor's game did not
Couldn't play
translate.
D.
I was gonna, yeah,
to
that's
the modern
problem.
game.
They didn't have the foresight to see that. Yeah, he's a good player, but that is being.
He's a
like,
dinosaur.
yeah, that's being like totally nixed out
Dude,
of the
but
game.
when he got the ball in his hand on offense, he was a totally different human being. Like, you could just see it in his face. Defense, he's like, God, run right by me.
He didn't care about defense at all. And
No, it's horrible.
he's not like in the NBA. You had to be like a 3-and-D guy. And you had to be able to play switches. He couldn't play switches. He couldn't defend. And back to the basketball is a forgotten thing. There's two things that today's game.
That really is.
They don't have back to the basketball, and their mid-range jumper does not exist. So those are
Except
like
for a couple old heads. Like,
right.
Yeah, with
dude,
that 12
Kawhi was
footer.
like killing it with the mid-range in the playoffs,
He
which
was.
was awesome because I love to see that.
I like
but-
to see it too, but people say because of the math, it makes no sense. You don't do the mid range; it's like the worst shot to take, and teams and players don't take the mid range jumpers anymore. And then you don't see a lot of back to the basketball anymore.
layups and threes.
Well, to me, that was the problem. When you're the fucking Celtics and you're missing 45 out of 63 points, play the game inside and out instead of outside and in. If you
Right.
can't make a goddamn three, switch it up.
Right, at least try something different. I know your bread and butter is always going to be 3-pointers, especially when you have the shooters that the Celtics do. But just change it up a little
Well, and they
bit.
kind of did that in the first half, and then they got away from it and went back to what they normally do, is was shooting threes, but like, and the Knicks allowed them to do that, and it's like, hey,
True. I mean, you can't miss 10 in a row.
it worked for them last year. Now, obviously, they were healthy with Porzingis and everything like that. It worked for them last year. They won the championship, but Knicks are feisty, man, and they play defense, and they're not going to go away.
Brunson's just a dog.
He is.
That dude, he's a straight animal.
He is. And then the other series, I mean, the Pacers, shocking some people, being up 2-0 the way that they are in those two games.
How about that fold job by
Oh,
Cleveland?
my God. Talk about a choke job there from Cleveland. Jeez.
Missing
Missing
three of their top players, Garland, Mobley,
Yep.
and DeAndre Hunter, and they had that game in the bag. And man, Tyrese Halliburton did his thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other series in the West with the T-Wolves. I don't know really have a feel for that one quite
It
yet.
sucks so
We're
bad.
going to find
Steph
out
got
tonight,
hurt.
won't we?
We'll find
Don't
out.
they play tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks that Steph got hurt, man.
It does.
Like, he's so fun to watch.
He
Like,
is, and
still.
they're saying he might not be back till game 6 or 7. And
Dude,
apparently,
he's not coming back.
well, he apparently was crying when he talked to Kerr. So that right there, Hack, tells me a lot. Like,
Dude, it's a hit, dude.
He's never had one before. So
He's
he doesn't
never
know.
been injured, really.
He had ankle issues
Oh, yeah.
early in his career, but other than that,
That
like,
dude's freaking tough.
yeah,
it
he
just
is.
it sucks because that was going to be a really good series. I mean, the best part about it is we're going to get playoff Jimmy out the ass. Like, he might average 40 and under.
He might have
Like,
40
He's going to
tonight.
have to.
Buddy Hield's going to have to step up again like he did in game 7.
I know,
they're-
Kev.
Everybody's
Keep
going to
doing
have to
that.
step up.
everyone's going to have to step up. Yeah, seriously.
I know. Do you see like the first quarter?
But they're
of that-
not a super deep team.
No, they're a thin team. They don't have
Totally
and they're small too.
Well,
like
if you
they're
saw-
undersized.
If you saw in the first quarter of the first game, I think it was like the first 6-8 minutes, Kerr played 11 people and was like, "Yo, this is basically open tryouts. Like,
Figure it out. Let's see
who
who
wants
does well."
to play? Like, who's gonna play? Like, Guy Santos was in the game. Like, there was like,
Well, yeah, because you never touched the last 4 guys in their lineup ever.
No, especially not in the playoffs. Like everybody shortens the rotations.
Better
You
believe
gotta-
it.
Yeah,
you
but
gotta have
their
like
first-
8 guys.
but their
pretty much.
normal 6, 7, 8 guys weren't really producing. So Kerr was like, "Yo, you guys want to play? Go out there and play." Like,
Yeah.
And they came out. Steph left the game, and they came out with the win, which was huge. If they have a prayer of getting Steph back at any point, which was huge, it bought them, in another night or whatever. But and the hockey playoffs have been awesome. These playoffs have been pretty good so far.
Yeah, that Winnipeg game the other night. I don't know if you guys were watching that
Game
game
seven.
7.
Blues game.
Oh my God, that was incredible.
Zip to start.
It was incredible. With a goal at 1 second left, and then going to double overtime, and just the tension in those playoff hockey games is it's
That sport needs it.
Oh yeah.
That's what really needs it. They should just go to 4-on-4 hockey, dude. Shrink the ring a little bit and have some more scoring.
You've said this before. I don't mind it for what it is because it's playoff hockey. It is a fantastic tournament every year, even if you don't follow it throughout the regular season.
Just
like
awesome.
I'm not. It's just great. It's great sports.
Yeah, it's digging into my. Both playoffs are just digging into my sleep. Like,
Absolutely.
real hard.
Yeah, staying up for these West Coast games. Definitely.
Oh, killers.
Hack, you guys, unfortunately, with the Derby on Saturday, the Sandman horse did not have a successful Derby.
Freaking nag.
Yeah, I think that
Did the job per usual.
Yeah, did the job per usual for the Sandman. But you guys were at the TWA reunion at the ECW Arena. How was everything this past weekend?
Dude, it's so great to get paid to have family reunions. Can you have a better business on the planet than that? You get paid to have a family reunion.
No, it's awesome.
Freaking awesome, dude. Some guy had seen Tommy Cairo in forever. He'd seen Cash in a couple years. Just a lot of guys
Tommy
you haven't
Stetson.
seen. Yeah, Tony Stetson.
Tony Stetson. Yeah,
Love
Tony Stetson.
Dude. He gave me a big hug, dude. I love that when there's a difference between giving a guy like a man hug with a pat on the back and like a hug, you know what I mean? And I hugged him and he was hugging me as hard as I was hugging him, and that just felt great.
That's awesome.
Like you appreciate each other that you freaking did something.
Friend of the show, Donnie Allen.
Oh my God, who's now going to be the next Penguin in the Batman movie?
Yeah, I don't know if
Dude, you could roll him like Roberta Beauregard after she blew up eating the blueberries. Remember the Oompa Loompas rolled her down the freaking hallway?
Yeah, when you guys hugged, you barely got each other's shoulders because, the gut friction was a little bit much.
He's on that Paul Heyman diet.
Oh, yeah. Seafood, eat it.
God, that's awesome, man. And for people who don't realize, Tri-State Wrestling, when Joel Goodhart started, was the real, precursor for ECW. It was the real, forefather of that. And there was so much talent that came through that company, like Austin Idol, Jerry Lawler, Abdullah the Butcher, Kevin Sullivan, Terry Funk. I mean, some big names at the time were working in TWA.
That you only saw in a wrestling magazine.
Right.
I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, wow, what are these dudes doing here?
And then in 1990, you're on the same cards as them,
I know,
starting out.
I'm working Ivan Koloff, my third match of my life.
It's crazy. Like Bob Orton Jr.'s on the card and Snuka and all these names that were, you always say ECW was guys on their way down too, but this was the early indies in the early 90s with TWA was. And it's really cool stuff that Joel Goodhart...
Because a lot of the other indies had dried up also, you know what I mean? So they needed some work somewhere.
Yeah, and it's really cool that TWA gave people an opportunity to do that and showcased a lot of talents that were just starting out, like you and JT Smith. I mean, really just cutting your teeth.
Sabu.
I mean,
he was there early. He was there way early. He was there in Tri-State Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, Eddie Gilbert and all these names that were, big names in the business, and they
huge.
And you were working that hardcore style before ECW started in '92. So it was really interesting stuff, man. That's so cool that you guys got to have that reunion down at the arena and everything. And
yeah, it's freaking great.
Yeah, saw a bunch of good people. Tommy Rich.
Top Wildfire was there.
Awesome.
He actually got in the ring. I said, so you're doing the opening spot and the finish. He's like, I like that idea, son.
And the Rock and Rolls, you were seated next to our boys, the Rock and Roll Express again.
Yeah, Robert was on his once again. His one-man show. He was giving the whole thing. Yeah, he actually asked me. He's like, Tyler, what you dipping? I gave him some Skull Apple because he said he did Copenhagen's or something like that. And
5 minutes later,
he was like, man, I'm fucked up.
He got high as shit sometimes because he's used to his own brand.
Right,
Yeah, he was like, I got a buzz off of this shit. I'm like,
that's awesome.
I'm like, nice.
And Ollie, you had your boys out there too. I got to see Hack do his entrance.
Yeah, I brought them to the show. I gave them their lucha masks that I got them from WrestleCon in Vegas because I was FaceTiming Colin there and I showed him the lucha masks and he has to get him one. So if I get him one, I have to get the younger one, and luckily they fit perfectly and they love them. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, Colton was asking me the other day in the car when we're going to see wrestling again. So
There you go. Starting him young, man.
Yeah.
I love it. That's
Yeah,
another generation.
the younger one, Ash. It felt like every time he put the mask down, he like got
He became a
superpower.
superhero.
He was like, ah!
And he would start screaming. It was great.
That's awesome.
yeah,
man.
Colton has a Sin Cara mask, and I don't know whose Ash's is, so I'll have to show you. Maybe you can tell me.
Yeah, maybe we have that's a nap right there. Identify a luchador mask right there.
Oh, we got to get him a Penta mask. I know a guy who'll send me a couple now that just reminded me.
There you
Yeah,
go.
shout out to Meanie. Meanie was he was selling hard for the boys in the Lucha mask.
They were beating him up in the back a little
Yeah,
bit.
Meanie was
awesome.
selling hard. He was doing a job for the boys.
That's
so.
awesome. Putting him over.
Yeah.
Just like back in the day for you, Ty. That's really cool, man.
Oh, and another great thing, Meanie's girl came up to us at the WrestleCon beforehand, and she was like, so I saw the video of you and your entrance at GCW or whatever, and that shirt that you had on, the SVW shirt.
Yeah.
that, you know, she was like, I love that shirt. I was like trying to figure out where I could get it. And I was like, SVW. She was like, no, I don't want to get it. I want you to give it to me, Hack. I want I want it from you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we come home in between. Hack goes immediately upstairs, grabs one of the SVW shirts, put it in the bag. We get there, hands it to her in a bag. She opens it up, and like it was like a little kid on Christmas. She was like, "Oh my god!" Like she put it over like so much. Like she was like,
No, the blue girl's great.
That's
she
awesome.
was so thankful. Like she loved it. It was a cool moment.
That is so cool. They got married last year at WrestleMania weekend. Remember last year? Meanie and his girl?
Yeah,
Hack's
at that bar.
yeah. That's awesome. Really, really cool stuff there.
It was a good time.
We're going to have to definitely do some old TWA shows on the show someday, because I definitely want to go back and watch some of that
I
stuff.
just want to see me and Sabu touching that battle royal at the Civic Center.
Which is the first time you guys ever interacted in a
Yeah, he
ring.
punched the shit out of me his first punch.
And in the words of Hack, he would always punch the shit out of me the first time, and then spend the rest of the fucking match apologizing.
There you go. That's Sabu for you, man. This week on the show, we watched ECW, A Matter of Respect from 1996, May 11th, 1996 in the ECW arena. I really enjoyed this show, man. I thought that this was a really, really good card overall. But the show started off with El Puerto Ricano taking on Damien 666. This was a clipped match. You didn't really get to see much of this, but Damien 666 was in that battle, the match with Joey Janela's with the guys where everybody was over 60 years old. So he's still going in 2025, which is something to say. And that's something you see with a lot of luchadors. For some reason, because of the style they work late into their lives, like into their 60s, a lot of them.
Yeah, because they don't get fat and out of shape. They got some Americans do. Europeans.
Some of them do, like Super Porky, but some of them don't. And Damien 666 was certainly a really cool luchador back in the day. These guys didn't really do a whole lot. There was just a bunch of brawling, and a lot of it was clipped. But I
was gonna say a lot of it was clipped, so it was hard to really tell. What
I
the
can't
whole
really
match was about.
give it a star rating. I don't know if you give this any Shaw's Hack. You got any Shaw's out for this one? No.
Shaw wasn't on the show.
Shaw was on the show.
He was?
Yes. What did you not get that?
Oh, we did a run-in or something,
No,
didn't
he was involved in a
He
match
did? Hold on, I must have skipped that
with the
match.
FBI. You're skipping matches, this guy?
No, I don't remember, dude. This was a couple days and I was drunk.
It was him and Axel versus JT and Guido.
Yeah, it was at FBI, and we'll get to that in a minute here. But up next on the show was the Dudley Boys taking on Damian Kane and Devin Storm. This was interesting because you have Bubba at this point still figuring out who he is, and Devin Storm teaming with Damian Kane. Another guy, Devin Storm, he worked for AEW and Ring of Honor a couple weeks ago. So in 2025, Devin Storm, Crowbar, is still getting bookings and still working, which is
Still
awesome.
looks good, man.
Still looks in shape and still going. And a lot of times people forget that he had an ECW run with a couple spots here and there. But him and Damian Kane as a team taking on Bubba and Devon. This match, I don't know, wasn't really all that much. I mean, it's the best part of this was Bubba selling his boner at the beginning.
Dude, I got a Woody when she put the glasses on. She was good looking, dude.
She was
Wow.
Lady Alexandra, but
And I remember the one spot. I think it was either Devon kicked off.
Devin's head off.
Yeah,
I got
drilled
I
him.
got
With the
Devin
drop
kicked
kick.
Devin head off. Is Devon spelled like Devin?
Yeah,
That's
pretty
why I
much.
was having the problem. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
Kicked
on
his
the drop
head
kick,
off.
kicked his head off. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, there was Damian Kane, he's just not a great worker, really. He's a brawler kind of guy, and that's the kind of the style of this. And the match itself was one of those brawler matches. There was a couple cool spots with there was a backdrop onto Dances with Dudley in the wheelchair.
That was a good spot.
Which I just marked out for.
Took a bump.
He did take a bump. I don't know if he was legitimately hurt at that time period, but that was certainly
No, that was a bump.
it certainly was. There was a chair shot, and then Storm was selling, and then he hit Devon with a chair, and then Devon was just drilling everybody with chair shots. Damian Kane, Devon Storm, he was laying them in.
Bubba caught one.
And then Bubba as well, because he was pissed off, and there was the DQ as a finish. I know we said before, don't get many DQs in ECW.
Well, he hit the ref with the chair. That's the
Then
only
he hit the
reason.
ref with the chair.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
the
yes.
only reason why there was a DQ.
Well, I don't know. Didn't last week we see somebody DDT the ref and there was no DDQ? There was no
DQ. Yeah, you don't want to hold continuity up with the ECW with the rules.
Right.
Just whatever. And that was the finish of this one.
Well, yeah, they do.
Which I don't understand why they wouldn't just want to beat fucking one of the other two guys.
It didn't make sense to me. It was very wacky.
Well, it was, I think, to set up the dissension between Bubba and
Definitely
Devon.
was more for that than the match. But I don't know. As a star, this is like a star and a half. I don't know. Ollie, what do you give it? Yeah.
I'll give it 2 because the Dudleys are in it.
Oh, wow. Generous 2 there from Ollie. That's like a hack 5. That's
All right. I'm giving it a 4. My boys are there. Didn't like Dick missing though. I wonder what was up with him.
Yeah, I don't know why Big Dick wasn't
They
there.
said
That's good.
something about him. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, Joey was like, Big Dick
Might have
wouldn't
had a
like
broken
this
foot
or
or something.
like that.
He did have a knee thing, and
There's
he was on
something.
crutches for a long time.
That's right. It was a knee thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He had a big like knee brace on for a long period. But okay, you give that a 4. All right, Ty, what do you give it?
Easy 4.
Easy 4 too. So that's not just a regular 4.
I'm gonna go 2 just for Dances with Dudley taking that bump, and then afterwards he was trying to crawl on the ground as if he was like definitely still injured to like separate Devon and Bubba in the match. Like he was
I didn't even pick that up.
He was army crawling, like trying to separate the two. So just on that aspect alone, I had to give it that.
You talking the post match there with
Yeah,
that
the post match, he's like army crawling.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his wheelchair, and he's trying to separate the two, like army crawling. It was good work.
Up next on the show, this was the FBI, which was JT Smith and Little Guido at this point taking on Axel Rotten and Hack Myers. Shah. The crowd got on JT Smith real early, and he was getting heat, and then chanting about him having a Woody. So this is 2 boners and 2 matches here. This is JT was selling a lot for the Shah. I gotta put Hack Myers over here. Hack Myers had a really good right hand. He did have a nice punch.
Yeah, the power of Shaw behind it.
He had the power of Shaw behind it. He had nice. Like I watch a lot of modern wrestling, and the punches look like shit. He had a good punch. I will give Hack Myers credit for having a good punch. This match wasn't really much, and they clipped this one too. They cut it over to Myers hitting a bunch of punches, and then he went for a sunset flip on Guido, but he blocked it, and then JT grabbed his hands for the pin. So that was that finish. And again, this is a clipped match, so I don't know if we're going to give this any ratings for Shaw's. Hack, how many Shaws are you going to give this one?
Shaw.
Wow, a 4 Shaw. That is that because of Guido? JT? You all right, bud? Big
The
rip?
Shaw's got me.
I was gonna say he shot out.
That's right.
There we go. Up next on the show was the ECW World Championship match between Raven, Pitbull number 2, and U-Hack. Man, I absolutely love this match. I know last week you were very critical of your work, but
Because it was the shit.
I really feel like this is it might not be a top 5 Sandman match, but I think this is a top 10 Sandman match.
It's up there.
I absolutely love this, and then especially considering later in the match with your injury, but I really, really loved your work in this, man. I thought this was so well laid out. And last week when I told you that we're doing this and who you were working, you were dreading watching it because you were like, oh, God, Raven and Pitbull
from his
2.
last performance.
No, but Raven and Pitbull 2 and the Sandman on paper does not sound like a match that would be really great. And this match was great. Like honestly.
We had Anthony under control.
I was
did.
going to say, I actually thought Anthony was really good in the match.
He was
Because I
awesome.
was telling him everything to do.
He delivered every spot that he was in.
Yeah.
And he was on, and Scotty was on, and you
Yep.
were on.
Yeah,
and
dude, it was lovely.
You had everybody out there as seconds who were on, and people who
It was a three-way, you know what I mean? Not a two-way fucking half the time, you know?
Well, this is something that you always say about three-ways, and we always say it on the show, too. It's like, if you're doing a three-way, do a three-way. And the other thing about this is everybody in this match had a valet and a second, a valet and a second, a valet and a second.
And it never looked muddled or anything.
No, and all the spots were laid out so well that all the heat build to when you're finally doing all the falses at the end, the crowd's biting on every single
they
false.
were.
Every single false they were biting on.
I'm not sure you can have a better first 5 minutes of a three-way match than what you guys
Yeah,
did.
to start off, Anthony pushing us off, you know, let's make the big guy,
You put him
shit
over
like that.
You put him over right
Yeah.
away by that.
And then all the combination that was going on, it was you hit him with the cane, then he bounces back. Then Scotty hit him with the chair, then he bounces back. Then you hit him with the cane,
And then it's a standoff between you, and then it's like, all right, well, we got to hit him again. And then,
Mexican standoff, what are we going to do?
Well,
Here he comes.
What I love too about the standoff spot with Raven's chair and you with the cane is you guys look at each other and then you start going at each other too, and then you go back to Pitbull. So it's like that worked, and then I loved all the spots that you did with the cane in your hand, just seamlessly wrestling.
They
with
missed my best one, my first jump over the top rope in the corner.
You fucking nailed.
They missed that one.
camera-
They got the second one. They
Yeah.
missed the first one.
The camera completely
The one
missed
in the
it.
corner's more freaking spectacular because you got a farther distance that you got to go.
I loved it, and I loved like Scotty does all the little Scotty stuff. He hits the shitty Raven dive, which we always talk about.
Oh, I got it right here.
The plancha.
Anthony stole the U/RVD leg drop on the guardrail on the outside. I was a little shocked by that. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But all that sequence that you guys did there with the, double shoot off into the guardrail, and then you go for it again, and then he shoots both of you off. Like all the sequence that's
Then he
like
just
going
breaks
on.
the chair for no reason.
Yeah, like,
He's like, I'm roided out. This is great. I love him missing the spinning kick to you too. He takes a nice bump on that when he missed the spinning kick over.
Oh, dude, I called that. You see, I fucking called. I'm like, dude, reverse this spin kick.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Hack. When you're calling that spot is when you get low on him, you kind of shoot on him a little bit, and you're doing some punches to him. Is that when you call
Like,
that
listen
spot?
to me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You should be selling down here, so I got your head right here next to my mouth.
I saw
was
it when
kinda
I
like
watched
doing
it.
this while I'm talking, so you're watching my hands, not my mouth.
Yeah, you gave him like kind of like a double like shoulder thrust. Like I've never seen you pull that out before. That was a
I
little,
had to make sure. Anthony was the kind of dude, you had to make sure, because he'll just go, even though if he doesn't understand the spot.
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm making sure I ain't having any of that.
So then he's back in the ring. He hits an awesome release tiger driver for a 2 count. And he hit a butterfly suplex. He hits you with a really good power slam, which you sold well, and he hit really crisp. Like, he's hitting all those power moves.
you got up for that, too.
You did.
I was like, yo.
He knows. There's some guys, when you do a power slam, if the guy giving the power slam, it's way better if his knees don't hit the floor. If it's chest on chest, you know what I'm saying? And then you get the pop up, you know what I'm saying? But what guys do over here, check this out. If you're doing a power slam, fucking throw the guy down and don't let your knees hit the same time his back hits.
There you go. So then...
Dude, it's the truth. It makes the spot look so much better.
And then you guys were all down for a bit, and then you're back up, and you hit a super Hurricane Rana on Pitbull 2 off the top rope. Shouts out to Bron Breaker. You should take notes from Sandman there.
Super Hurricane Rana.
Take notes.
I thought it was a super duper Hurricane Rana.
I'm sorry for no duper there. Raven then went for a DDT on both you guys, and then you guys... was this a botch? Because I thought you were going to vertical suplex him, but you gave him like the gourd buster.
I was scared for a half a second that you were going to put Scotty on his head.
Right on his head?
It looked like you were going for a double like suplex, but it was like it turned into a face bump, and it was like...
Yeah, it was a slip up.
Okay.
Yeah, one of you was going for the suplex, one of you was going for the face, and like... Just luckily, Scotty didn't land on his head.
Then finally, the ref gets bumped, and
It was close.
Pitbull 2 is the only guy up, but he can't get a pin on either one of you guys, which is great because it gives him the visual of like, oh, I could have had this match won, but there's no ref. So it puts him over a little bit too. Like that's one thing about this match is everybody leaves this looking better than they did coming in, and Raven
Agreed.
keeps the belt, which is
That's hard.
That's booking though. That's smart. That's laying out a match right. Like that's everything you guys put
And
into
prior
this.
to that, you guys had a bunch of good, not necessarily falses, but you broke up a pin on somebody, then Anthony broke up a pin on somebody,
Dude,
then Scotty broke up
timing, dude.
And I like one thing about you say timing on the pin breakups too. You were breaking up pinfalls before the 2 count, which I love. I hate waiting for 2 count. If the guy's standing right there,
No, I want to be there at 1. I
Right.
don't
Be
want to
early
be
than
there
late.
two and a half.
right? I love it.
Early then late.
And then in comes Scorpio, and he takes out Pitbull 2, but then in comes Gary Wolf. He's got like his arm in a sling too, and then they brawl and they leave the ring, and then in comes Stevie, and Raven's trying to decide who he's going to pin, and then the ref is still down, and then Pitbull 2 is weirdly setting up a table on the outside corner, propped up on the top rope, and then you get put on it. And you fall off the table, and you take the table with you, and that was a weird fucking spot, but it looked brutal, man. I liked it.
We had done it before, both of me and him standing on the table on the corner.
Okay.
But it just didn't work out this time.
And then
You went back to it just without the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then right after that, he gives you the backdrop driver off the top turnbuckle, which looked like $1,000,000. It looks like he fucking killed you on that. Like you take a great bump on that. That was a great spot. Like it would be believable if that was a finish. I mean, that was really awesome. And then you then grab your cane and you try to go to leg drop Raven. And I don't know what happened here with your leg at this, man. Like walk me through what happened here on this spot.
I screwed up.
You
I don't know.
just screwed up. Like
Yeah,
That's your typical leg drop. Your left leg always hits before your right.
my
always
leg
throw
drop
to-
was never great.
it wasn't the prettiest
From the
thing,
top-
but you still made
from
contact.
the top, but that was the thing.
I've
I don't
never
know.
seen
That
you-
Yeah,
was-
but it was more made for like the outside of like dude hanging
on
over the guardrail,
or so- or-
like not off the
or
top
a
rope.
guy laying on the top rope, and I do it all. Yeah.
Well, and it looks like that because you never want to land on a guy in that sort of situation. So you're always falling to your left side, giving the right-legged left. You know what I'm saying? You're always bracing your fall on your left side, doing it on
Always.
the outside. So yeah, that's why.
So this makes so much sense. In '96, when I was in Japan, I was doing that Alabama Jam leg drop, and I fucking busted my ass up. And I broke the first night in Japan. We got 2 weeks to go. I got a black mark on my whole right ass cheek. Teddy Rocco Rock gives me some Tiger Balm to put on my ass. I got back to the hotel, I put it on my ass, and then I went to scratch my nuts.
No.
Oh my God, I didn't sleep for the whole night. I wanted to go home the next morning so bad. I was so fucking miserable.
Oh my
Very
god!
first night, maybe our second time. Oh, it might have been our first time there. Yeah, I wanted to go, and Teddy's like, heck, you can't leave.
Wow.
I don't care. He goes, I'll carry you if I have to, but you can't leave because you'll ruin your reputation there.
Yeah.
You know, they don't care if you're fucking hurt. Deal with it.
Right. I mean, Japan, like they're not going to be like.
Yeah,
you know.
don't take any ass bumps.
Yes.
So, note to self:
So
don't
I
get
think
tiger
that
balls.
changed me because when I'm always a bumper when I bump, it's always my right side bump. So when I'm doing my Alabama Jam is freaking my way. Is fucking saying that I had a great top rope leg drop like Bobby Eaton. No, it was horrible. But I switched to dropping on my left cheek, and I think that's how I got screwed up. And I never did it again after that.
Huh? Interesting. That's funny. That's funny too, because like I know like Ric Flair, after he had the plane crash, he started taking back bumps differently on his side.
On his right side,
And
every single one.
This is your version of the Ric Flair
That's why
plane
I had
crash.
to get a new right hip.
But this is you taking the leg drop like you did here, and then getting injured on it. I mean, Jesus
Blowing
Christ.
my knee out and then going another 10 minutes, dominating, calling everything.
That's okay. So like Ty, we talked about this last week on the show. Hack. Excuse me. The only time you said fans chanted "you fucked up" to you was this match.
You said you did a leg drop and you hurt your knee, and they said you fucked up and like you were like a little upset or whatever. And how apropos is it that the following week, which you obviously had no idea what show we were doing.
Tosh texted me and goes, "I think this is when you get your knee hurt." I'm like, "I don't think so, dude."
And lo and behold, it's
the one.
that time, like, which is just funny as hell.
What are you thinking at this point now with the pain going through your body? Is the adrenaline carrying you through this? Like, is that
Yeah,
it?
adrenaline took a minute to get in there. Like some other ones, the adrenaline will hit right away. It took a minute or two for the adrenaline to kick in, to just be like, you just got to push fucking through it.
Well, I thought about it, especially when you guys were setting Meanie up for the Super Bomb,
at
and
the
I'm
end,
like,
then.
I don't know how Hack's gonna get him up.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well,
I'm like, how do I press him the fuck up there?
you kind of buy a little bit of time for yourself, because you go low on both the guys with the cane, and then you could really see it. Like, you're having trouble walking at this point, and I know you're not selling, but it still works into the context of this match that you get injured here at this point.
And you get shot into the ropes. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, so then you try to superplex Pitbull 2 with the bum knee, and then that gets him super bombed, and then Raven just uses the loaded boot on him for the pin, so it takes him out of the match, which I love because it was bang bang. And the loaded boot, it puts the
fucking loaded boot.
Ollie's favorite finish in the
Greatest
business.
thing ever.
It's
It
great.
really is.
It's just like it's just I don't understand.
It's so
like,
comical.
it's just I don't understand like the loading of the boot. What does the hitting do that makes it?
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling, man. It loads it up, dude. You gotta load it up.
It's so funny.
Originally, with the Iron Sheik, he had this like curled thing on his toe. You
Yeah,
ever see
like
that?
a Christmas elf.
And he used to fucking load that thing up. Scotty didn't have anything. I'm like, dude, I didn't like his loading the boot.
I loved it.
He's like, nah, they'll love it.
No, they did too. It was great. So he's eliminated from the match at this point, and Francine is just so pissed. She immediately gets in the ring and starts going to town at Raven, and then that brings in Miss Patricia, who was Meanie's valet at this point. Do you remember anything about Miss Patricia, Hack?
No, I remembered her face and everything, but I didn't remember her name.
So
She was mean. Meanie had a valet.
Yes, that's the heat right there.
And the Stooge has a valet.
Yeah,
That's the greatest thing ever.
yeah. So then Missy then runs in with your cane, and she clears the ring out, which is great. You know, just take it out.
Yo, she's fucking swinging that thing.
She is
she is.
really swinging the cane there.
She knows she gotta look good.
So now we get, like
This
I
is my
said,
ultimate spank bank moment. It's like a 7-year-old. I'm like, yes.
I don't want to play with wrestlers anymore.
Yeah.
so now we get these wonderful false finishes, man. You immediately roll up Raven for a 2 count, and then another roll up for a 2 count, and the crowd's going absolutely nuts at this point.
Which is awesome.
They are biting on each and every single one of
they
these, and that's how you know they're good false finishes. And then a DDT on Raven for a 2 count, and I think everybody in the building bought that for a finish right there. And then in comes Stevie, and he accidentally super kicked Raven. And if they didn't bite on the last one, people in the building definitely bit on that one.
I know, it's crazy.
Dude, the shit's so good that it can almost get me to bite, but I just know Hack's not winning the match.
Right.
You know, so but
I'm not falling.
but
for
when
this
I'm
false
watching it,
thing.
I'm like, man, this is good shit.
This is fucking good shit.
Each time it's like, oh, Oh!
and then the big one.
Yeah.
And then it's like 4 in a row right there. And then you're just out. You're on the outside of the ring now, and you're throwing around the guardrail. You're trying to get it unhooked, and you throw in a piece of the guardrail into the ring.
Ask the fans to unhook the guardrail for you, which happens later on throughout this entire show, where the fans are just so much part of the whole entire bit. Like,
Yep. And then, so back in the ring, that gave Raven some time to get back and recover. And he gets whipped into the guardrail, and then you suplexed it onto Raven, and then you hit him in the face, and then he avoids a suplex. He DDTs you onto the guardrail for the win. This was fucking...
And you see,
And the
he hit
guardrail
me, I
snaps,
spun
which is
right
great.
into him, and it was just so nice, the flow of it.
It was fucking awesome.
You didn't have to drag me, snatch me at all. It was just there.
And post-match, Meanie got beat up by you guys, and then you helped him up for the Super Bomb, and then you celebrate with the Pitbulls, and then you guys did a beer toast. You didn't like the first beer, you threw that one out, and then you got another one, and then you said it's a matter of respect, and then you gave him some respect, and then out came you gave him Missy. You gave Missy to the Knight to the Pitbulls. You were like, I've done this before. You go with him, and then that brought Francine out, and then you got a cat fight again. And
And then I'm yelling, "This is how you treat me when I show you respect."
Right.
To get the story. In
so it played into the whole respect thing, but for a whole match and a spectacle, entrances, all the interference and
a
everything.
lot of shit afterwards too, dude.
I fucking...
A lot to remember.
I love this. Like, this is pro wrestling at its finest to me. I'm going to go 4.5 stars for it, man. There was a couple of hitches, but goddamn, this is a top 10 Sandman match. I absolutely love this. Ollie, what do you give it?
Begrudgingly, I give it a 5.
Wow, he's going the full 5 for me. Don't want to put him over.
Ty's
I'm
gonna
just
say the same
kidding.
freaking thing.
I'm just kidding. No, dude. I mean, the false finishes just alone. I mean,
The place was losing
with
their
everything
mind.
else
They
like
were.
intertwined in it and all the spots in it. I mean, I don't know how many fucking spots are in the match and how many people are involved, but yeah, I mean, and especially for the time period that we're in, which I always got to keep that perspective. So yeah, it's 5.
Hack, what do you grade yourself here, man? You want to go to Ty first here?
Yeah.
Ty, what
Let's
do you-
hear Ty put me over first.
God, he's so cocky right
Yes.
now. Today he's so cocky.
Yes, I never
he doesn't. He does not want to do this. Ty does not want to do this. Ty, what do you give the match?
Just say it. Just say 6.
You will never get a 6 out of me. But I have to give it a 5. I thought it was one of your best matches I've seen in probably a very long time. So, and that Scotty and Anthony, I thought it was one of the better matches I've seen Anthony put
Absolutely.
on in a
Well,
very long
especially
time.
I knew how to handle him.
One, especially as a solo wrestler. I mean,
Right. So he's definitely out of his element in that aspect. So I got to give it the full 5.
Wow, man, I feel bad not giving it the full 5, but Hack, what do you give yourself on this
Dude,
one?
I'll lose my voice if I give it as many shots as I really think it deserves.
We're going to choke up a lot.
I'll be at like 37. I'll be like,
I mean, it was great, dude. I mean, sometimes...
no, dude, even I liked it. And I liked everything about it.
Yeah.
And I've never said that I don't think about a match that I've done, that I liked everything about it.
yeah, this was
But that
great.
match was on point.
It really was, and you and Raven in the ring together were magic. You had a great chemistry together, and this guy, if you guys have never seen this match, I would say go out of your way to watch this show for this
Yeah,
match.
find it on YouTube, dude. It's a really, really good match. And you'll wish that more 3-ways were like that now than they are.
Absolutely, and I always say it, like, going back to those, like, the bloodline matches with the interference and the waves of it, like, you can really see that infancy in ECW, and Paul Lee is somebody who studies history, and this was what he was putting on in 1996. There's a reason you saw matches not exactly like this, but structurally is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it structures everything.
Very similar in structure to a lot of those Roman bloodline matches that you were seeing. So,
And there's a reason why we talk about matches the way that we talk about matches, and the way that I'll critique a match, everything like that, is because I'm going off of a lot of Paul Heyman's early booking, because it's the first thing that I've seen. So just on that aspect, if you're wondering why we may think the way that we do sometimes when we're going over these matches, is because that's the baseline that we go off of, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely love this, guys. Definitely,
That's a great point, Ty.
Definitely,
Paul
definitely.
is basically the baseline for everything. All right, they were doing some good stuff in UWF. They were doing some good stuff in Florida, you know what I mean? But Paul just took that to another level, you know? And and a lot of things just based off of what we did in those fucking couple years.
well, yeah, and especially like just me personally, specifically, that was my really like first look at like professional wrestling and everything going on. So I can speak for me, but obviously I think, you know, going around, I think that rings true for all of us almost.
Yeah, and a lot of that, like the interference and stuff like that. I mean, Paulie, that goes back to Memphis when he started there too. So like he learned, just like you hack Memphis, like territory days and stuff like that. So this match, absolutely fantastic. I would say definitely go out of your way to check this one, because I definitely.
It's the only one that you're going to see that Hack likes of himself, probably. So
I don't know if it's a top 5 Sandman match. It's definitely a top 10 Sandman match. Like if they were making best of Sandman compilation DVDs,
Yes,
this
that's
match
in there.
absolutely is on
It
there.
has to be.
This match would
It has
absolutely
to
be
be.
on. And how long
I mean,
did it
how
go
many
on?
5 matches
It went
have I had in my
1826.
career?
1826. Wow.
Yep.
So and half of that with one leg too. I want to say still to put you over too, man, because you hurt your leg probably about like 10 minutes or so in. So
The
awesome.
show goes on.
The show goes on, man. What a tough son of a bitch you are, man. Seriously. Next up on the show was Chris Jericho taking on Mikey Whipwreck. Man, this was fun as shit. Like,
Dude, Jericho could have buried him easily, but he didn't.
no,
And he made, and I'm like, you know what I think I'm looking at? I think I'm looking at Jerry Lynn and RVD, because RVD could take Jerry Lynn to that next level. I'm like, fucking, if this goes right, if Chris wants to do business, he's going to take Mikey to a next level.
Well, and he certainly
and he
did.
fucking did.
Yeah, I mean, how long?
I got
This,
goosebumps,
15?
dude. That match
12
was
minutes
great.
even.
12 even. Okay.
I know, but it was really, really, really good.
It was, and okay, so what you're saying, Hack, is Jericho treated Mikey as an equal in this, because Mikey absolutely could go. And a lot of times his portrayal in ECW was of the jobber, or Mikey wins by like somebody slipped on a banana peel and Mikey beat him
Yeah,
or
but Chris
whatever.
had been around and he knew that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was with us for a little while. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like a one-off or whatever that he did.
Right.
So he knew, and dude, he did a great job, dude.
He did, and I really, really enjoyed this match too. I thought, like I said, he treated Mikey as an equal, and the work in this was, I mean, it's basically like tit for tat kind of match.
Exactly.
And that's like, the way it was worked, and they just kind of like, emptied out the holster on each other and just went to war. Like I really, really enjoyed this one. I thought there was a lot of really awesome spots in it.
for me, it was almost like a tale of two matches. I thought the first half of the match wasn't as good.
Then they picked it up. Exactly.
Yeah, and they picked it, like the first was a little slow. It wasn't like quite what I expected from them, and then the second half of the match, like Hack said, picked up like a lot, and they started getting a lot of their stuff in, and from what I expected the whole match to be. But I mean, still overall great work.
Yeah, what I liked about this, there was a real urgency, like you said, in the second half of the match. Like when he's doing the tiger suplex, and then a lot of good suplexes in this match. Like the fisherman's buster, the lion salt. There was a lot, like the Rana in the match.
He gave Mikey a kick out of the lion salt.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed,
and that was probably like what, 10 or so into the match, or 8 to 10 minutes.
it was
in.
later. It was later into the match, but
Could've been the
he
finish.
let Mikey kick out of the lion salt, which I don't know if anybody had really done at that time, because if you saw Chris's reaction to it, it was like that he kicked out.
Yeah,
so that's another point of Jericho doing business with Mikey and getting him over.
Yeah, no, they were trading suplexes in there. I just really enjoyed this, man. I thought this match was super, super solid. The finish of it was a butterfly suplex by Jericho. I thought that this was really, really strong. I'm going to go just, I don't know. Maybe like the first segment of the match where it was just like with the chairs and stuff was a little like, I don't know. But I'm going to go 3 3/4 stars for this. Ollie?
I'm going to go 3.5. Yeah, it was solid. Like you said, like fun, great work. Maybe started off a little slow. Probably could have ended up at like a 4, if not. But yeah, I mean 3.5, really solid.
I feel like it's just right under there. And the thing about Mikey, too, is like Mikey could have easily been signed to WCW and been in their cruiserweight division, you know, before he was in 99 and been delivering like banger after banger on TV every night. Like, that's how good of a worker fucking Mikey Whipwreck was. Like, awesome worker.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Hack, what do you give the match?
Going through my notes, I got a top rope pile driver. Is that right? There was a pile driver early or something. And then Mikey kicking out of the moonsault. And then the last thing is first 10, okay. Last 4, great.
Yeah, I mean,
Just like Ty said.
the finishing section, the home section when they were trading near falls and all the suplexes and everything was awesome. So, what did you give it as a rating?
That's a 5, dude.
That's a 5.
Yeah,
dude.
that's a 5. He brought Mikey freaking up into another stratosphere.
All right, Ty, what do you give the match?
I'm going to go with a 3. Like I said, I was getting a little bit disappointed with the first half of the match, but then, you know, the second carried it on, like I said before. So 3, it had a chance to get to a 4, but just the first half, I didn't really like that much. So.
All right. Up next on the show is the ECW TV title match between Too Cold Scorpio, the champion, taking on Shane Douglas. This one went a while too. And the thing is too, like I forgot who went over in this match when I'm rewatching this show, and when they did the announcement for the 25 minutes, I'm like, oh man, is this going 30? And they got me with it, so I was surprised with the finish when the finish finally hit, because I forgot what the finish was. So when they did that little like,
I thought it was going to be like a 5 extra minute piece.
Okay, for them to do the
Once
finish.
they did the 25-minute announcement, I was like,
brilliant saying that.
You
And
have-
then go home.
I love it. I love that. Like that's.
Yeah.
I want more matches on TV to do that, to do the call out of this, and then to have the finish after, because you trick fans' ears perk up. Like I was at Collision this past week and they did a draw and they said 1 minute remaining in the match, and I'm like, oh, they're going to go to draw, and they did, and like, okay. But if you do the reverse and then you do a finish with it, it just makes it all that more. These guys did so much in this match, man. Like a ton of shit. And Scorpio, I felt like was really on at this point. I thought he delivered in this match big time. They started out and Douglas wiped his ass with a WWF shirt and then tore it in half, which I just for
And what is he, like 6 months back from his tour?
yeah. He only did a couple months there. When he talks about that in his post-match promo, talking about how horrible it was.
Oh, and I hated it, and the crowd got behind him, and I'm like, fuck you, Shane. Seriously.
What, in the back? That's what you're thinking?
they did some awesome chain wrestling work to start this match.
They really did, like the top wrist lock and then all that stuff. They're just like two really good wrestlers. So then to go into that and then to do all the moves that they did, like to start with that segment was just like Shane's just so good at that, like the slower paced match and the building of a match and everything. And this,
All right, here, my first note is Shane calling. Hey, dude, he's a ventriloquist.
Yeah, he was calling a lot, I could see.
You see, when he's working that arm up there, Shane's like this, and he's telling you the next 15 spots when he's not moving his mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would do that ventriloquist fucking shit. Way better than the little girl did last weekend. No, when I saw it, I'm watching, I'm like, Shane's calling like fucking 15 spots right here.
I caught him calling a couple
so
of them.
long.
They
I know, but you don't see his mouth move.
no, they did a lot of bridging and they were battling over a backslide. And then Scorpio was able to fight that off and then blocked a belly to belly. They did a lot of cool suplexes. Douglas hit a butterfly suplex. And then I think the first part of the match was like Douglas is dominating, and then it was the later part of the match was Scorpio's dominating. But I didn't like when Scorpio was deciding not to pin him after he had him beat.
Dude, well, before that, when they're on the outside and Shane goes for the suplex, the bounce suplex off the rope.
Oh my
Scorp
god!
is pissed.
I could tell.
I could tell too because he kind of landed him on his head, and I actually thought Scorp
Hard.
might have been like
Hard,
out
right
for
on his
a
head.
fucking second. But if you notice after that, Scorp gave him a couple receipts, fucking like shooting him hard into the guardrail, pounding him a little bit, kicking him hard a little bit after
Better
that.
believe that.
Yeah, he gave him a couple receipts after that, and then he went back to doing business. But yeah, he fucking landed him right on his head.
But sure,
And I was
you
like,
can't land it. You got to land him on his waist. You can't land the guy on his knees on the top rope. He only has his face to hit the ground.
Well, then how about after that? He gets a powerbomb on the floor.
I know.
and
That was nasty
That's
too.
called.
No, I know, but it's still it's like after that spot, maybe you nix the powerbomb on the
But
floor.
he actually did a good. He actually protected Scorp on that one.
Nice and flat, laid him down, brought his shoulders down with his knees.
Yeah, he shot him outward a little bit, so his head wasn't, and Scorp obviously knows, tuck your chin and everything like that. He landed him flat on the ground. He protected him really well on that. Just the other one, he landed him right on his fucking head.
All right, well, now you got to think about this. If you're pissed at a guy, right, and that guy does the Shane thing, dropping me on my knees on the freaking guardrail and just leaving my face to hit the floor. If I get up and I pop him a couple times, you know what I mean? I'm going to give him that spot back to let him know, hey, we're good.
We're good. Yeah, I got you back. We're
You know
good.
what I mean? We're good. It's like you're not saying anything, but what you're doing is telling the guy, all right, we're good.
Well, that's why I said Scorp popped him with a couple, and then he went back to doing business. And then everything was cool after that. But he definitely shot him hard into the guardrail, kicked him like pretty hard, and popped him a couple times, and then was like, "All right, we're good."
Well, and Shane knows too. Like, if he fucked up on that, he's like, "All right, I gotta take these."
Well, he's not trying to do it.
Yeah, well,
he's
no,
not
I know,
trying
but
to do that,
he's like, he knows
point.
what's happening. Like, he's like, all right, I gotta take this fucking couple, and then everything will be all right.
I'm owed a couple receipts.
Yeah, and Scorp did a great job selling that bump and the power bomb on the outside. He's like doing the leg shake.
Oh yeah, he's doing like the twitching.
Yeah,
the dreamer
eyes,
twitch.
Yeah,
I call it.
Devon
or the
used to always
Devon,
do it too.
yeah, or
Yep.
Devon, however you pronounce it.
Dude, I had to write it back against each other. I wrote Devin, and I'm like, is that the same fucking
Like Devon Storm.
Oh, I wrote it right there.
It's
I'm
Devin
saying Devin or
Storm.
Devon.
Yeah, just do a capital D and then VON.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure enough.
Nah, but he did a great job selling both those things along with the other thing. And dude, Scorp's built like a brick shit house.
Oh,
in
man,
this,
yeah,
like,
Dude, his legs,
Yeah.
Yes,
like
he
his
should.
lower half
Both
of his
are.
body, dude.
yeah.
Both are, but if Scorp wanted to knock his ass out, no problem.
No problem.
None.
They-
Anybody in that locker room, then probably no problem.
They get back in the ring, and Scorpio hits him in the dick a couple times, just to show him that he's a tough guy. I
He
guess.
ain't no bitch.
Yeah. Then he goes in with a chair, but Douglas blocked that. There was a handspring flipping kick that sent Douglas to the outside, and then he hit it off with a moonsault off the apron. And then he set up a table, and then he put him on the table, but then when he went to go dive on it, Shane was gone. And then Douglas was under the ring.
Yeah. Then he went over. Yeah.
I love that.
Fucking.
I love that. And he hits him from behind. And then Scorpio had a rolling prawn hold, which was awesome to see for a 2 count. And then
What'd you call
a
that?
rolling prawn hold.
Spell prawn.
Prawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a shrimp.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. There was a kickback in.
Did Joey call that, or was
All
that
right,
you?
Tosh Styles.
I think that's just the name of it. I don't know if Joey called it. I've heard that name before. There was a twisting vertical suplex from Douglas for a 2 count, which was awesome. And then Scorpio with the fucking... I love his super kicks. They were calling them thrust kicks. I love Scorpio's kicks, man. Fucking money every time.
They're tight.
They really
Right there,
are.
baby.
And then there was another moonsault, and then it was a 2 count because Scorpio didn't want to win that way. And then he does a 450 splash, which
Pretty.
It's
so
perfect.
pretty. It's so pretty.
it's fucking perfect. It's like, seriously, that should have been the fucking finish. He doesn't cover him, which I hate. And
The
then
moonsault was clean. The 450 was clean.
then he does the twisting leg drop, and then he again goes up for something else.
But that was kind of Scorp's MO as a he would kind of do that and fuck with guys and not pin them and want to keep so now
To show off his whole arsenal.
Right, now in the end, it's actually good storytelling because it costs them in the end.
Yes,
You know, so.
that's true, Ty. That is a really good point.
The difference is Scorp, as a baby face, could do those moves against weaker opponents. But when you do that against a Shane Douglas, then you're a heel.
Right, which
You know
kind
what I
of
mean? That's being a heel, not covering Shane right there.
well, kind of after the finish of it too, though, with the post match and everything. It's like, did you kind of want him to be, or did you want him to be a super baby by doing all that heel stuff?
Right.
Because it's the ECW audience. So I'm a little bit.
But that Scorp, I ain't gonna second guess anything that motherfucker done.
There was a back suplex by Douglas for a 2 count. He had his Pittsburgh plunge for a 2 count. And then Scorpio was like selling dead to like stop the belly to belly. And he hits a rock bottom, which was fucking awesome. A Uranage. They go to the ropes, and then Scorpio hits a super Rana into a super bomb, which was fucking awesome. That was so good. Scorpio then went up again. But like I said, they called for the 25-minute, like shortly before this, and he gets caught with a top rope belly-to-belly superplex for the finish. Fucking awesome. I mean, like this is what, 27,
26.
26. Fucking great match. I really, really enjoyed this one. I'm going to go 4 stars for it. Like, I think this is really, really good work. Shane was on. Scorpio was on. It had a really good finish. I really like this. What do you give it?
That's 5 for me.
5.
I mean, for everything that you just said, but all those things check off a 5-star match as far as I'm concerned, so.
5er. Hack?
Sha!
Wow, a 5-shot match. Damn. Even with Shane. I mean, you really love this one, man.
Dude, it was a good freaking match.
It was a good freaking match. I mean, like,
Especially for those days. That's, that's freaking unbelievable for them.
yeah. And a lot of times Shane's work, and I'm not trying to nitpick on Shane, but as I'm rewatching a lot of these ECW stuff, his work sometimes is stuff that doesn't age the best. This fucking aged great. Like, this is a fucking
I was
great,
actually
great
really
match.
impressed with Shane in this match.
So was I.
Working with a different type of opponent like Scorpion, he was there for everything.
He was.
You know, and even, calling and doing his own shit. Like, it wasn't your atypical Shane match the way I saw it.
No, not at all.
So I was actually impressed with a lot of his work. The match, 4 for me. A little long for my taste, but great overall. The only thing, it's funny because the ending was Shane's trying to be the baby now after he's the heel. He's trying to be the baby, and then
doing the whole strap me up thing was like.
but then the very end with the strap me up is a heel move.
That's a heel move to me.
So it's like-
don't say strap me up. Like that's
So you went baby, baby, baby the whole promo, and then the very end was I'm still a heel, strap me up. So.
I think you're always fighting against the grain with Shane Douglas as a babyface. He's such a natural heel. Like, it just works. Him as a heel works.
There's not a baby in him.
Yeah, he's a heel.
There's just not.
He's a heel. Like, there's some guys in life, like, you're a heel. There's some people out there, it's like, okay, you're a heel, you're a face. Shane Douglas is a heel. And he cuts such great heel promos, too. Post-match, he cuts a really long promo. He's putting over the business and the fans and Heyman. And he says that Scorpio's better than him, and he respects him, and he's shitting on Vince McMahon and Atlanta. The typical Shane stuff. And then he says, strap the belt around my waist. And Scorpio, this is told like a little slow and played out. You're like, God, I really hope Scorpio hits him. And he finally does to a big pop. So that was that. Next on the show was Rob Van Dam taking on Sabu. And this was the reason for this show being called A Matter of Respect, is that RVD just doesn't respect Sabu at this point. So, man, this is like really fun stuff with these guys. We saw the blow-off before with the stretcher match they had.
Where was Fonzie?
Fonzie's
With Taz.
managing Taz at this point. He's not yet. Yeah, he's not yet with Sabu and RVD.
Okay.
So he's still with Taz until '97 when you guys did Barely Legal. So he's not yet with those two guys. But man, these two guys, the spots that they're doing together are just like. I know Rob came up, being trained with Sabu and working with him and everything, but like the chemistry these two guys had in the ring as opponents, not just as a tag team, was just awesome. I mean, like the timing that these guys had. I loved watching these guys
It
work.
was a little bit off in the beginning.
It was a little
Like they're, you're chain wrestling. Like if you want to talk Roman Greco or something like that, you know what I mean? You're professional wrestling chain. Like I don't know. They're trying to do nothing, which is okay. You know what I'm saying? But it has to look a little bit better when you're doing nothing. Like there's a lot of fumbles with the ankles and all that shit when they're on the ground.
You're talking about the first like couple minutes of the match, yeah. Until they start to do all the high flying shit that they did,
Right.
which was fucking awesome. There was a RVD took like an air sabu on the rail, which was really nasty.
Wow.
That was nasty. And then RVD, I love when he sets that up for the rail, but then there was a chair in there, and then RVD went in the ring, and he went for a no hands dive, and then Sabu moved, and RVD quickly put the stop to that. Sabu did the guillotine leg drop, and then the triple jump Rana with the chair right there. And then as I'm watching him do that, I'm like, wait.
He's 3/4 of the ring.
I know, but then I'm like, RVD could there's chairs right there. Like he takes
He
the
can
Rana,
hit his head on it and
but he didn't even come close to it. And it's just like that's trust when you're out there with those guys. Like that's
Yeah, I'm like the chair's right there, but he knows to run him to the off to the side,
which he did.
Yeah.
But like a lot of guys, like I wouldn't want to see a lot of people trying to pull that spot off, but Sabu fucking did it.
No, because you're going to lose your point of landing when you're going that far.
We're talking a little bit. I think we're talking two different spots.
I'm talking about early in the match when he did the
I'm talking about
Above the
late in the match.
turnbuckle.
okay. Sabu then did a springboard DDT, and it's just like, how does Sabu keep his balance on this shit, man? Like,
Dude, some of the ones he had,
dude, that like 1 foot on the top rope and then leave it.
I'm like, how the fuck does like seriously? He's like a magician or something. Watching it's amazing watching.
and
this
those
guy.
aren't like WWE tight ropes. Like those things are a little bit flimsy.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Sabu was flawless in this match.
He really, yeah. Like some nights Sabu's off and some nights Sabu's on. This is definitely a Sabu's
Yeah, he
on.
was straight this match.
So the RVD, Sabu did a triple jump plancha, and then RVD hits him with a chair on the way down. He set up the chair, and then he hits a somersault.
That was on the outside, right?
Yeah, and then he sets a somersault plancha on it on the floor, and then there's a Mexican surfboard from RVD, and then they're doing some leg lock stuff here at this point. And then there's a moonsault press from Sabu, which is awesome. The Arabian press for a 2 count. And then RVD does a little comeback with a power bomb, the rolling splash. And then RVD was going up. He threw a chair at him. And they did this like miss thing where RVD sees that the triple jump's coming. And then Sabu stops on the chair, which was, I thought, awesome. And then
I was like, that's a little far for the triple jump. For
this
Sabu
is the
to
one you
reach
were
him.
talking about, Hack.
This is actually a little bit before, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but he set up the chair. I'm like, that's a little far jump, Sabu, for hitting him in the corner, and then we get to it again later, where you're
But
talking
it's
about.
funny, Sabu, like, a lot of the times that I worked with him, when he set a chair up, he did not have to go back to it. It happened a lot in this match. He would set it up, then be like, and then go redo it. At least
Couple times,
at least 3 different times. And that's not familiar to me with him.
That's true, and he also didn't have Fonzie out there to like place it for him at times too, which was always Fonzie was always helping him with stuff. There was a sunset flip power bomb on the floor, which was fucking nasty.
That was.
Oh god. Then we get the triple jump plancha into the fucking audience into like the 5th row, which was
Awesome.
fucking great.
And Sabu's setting up the table, and here we go again with the fans' help. And Sabu's like, "Yo, no, turn it
Yeah.
over there." Like the fans are literally setting up the table.
Yeah,
for
that
the
was
spot.
very nice impact, like belly to belly, fucking exploded the table. You can see it on the people's faces.
Oh, it was awesome.
That was big.
And the fans were going nuts at this point too.
Yeah, Gumby was there.
There was a bunch of shit. There was a brainbuster off the top, which was fucking awesome.
And then the fisherman buster off the top.
Well, was that the finish? The Fisherman Buster?
No. Well, then came the
And then the
split leg.
split-legged moonsault was the finish. Okay, yeah.
I love
With
the
the,
split leg
with the thigh to face.
Oh god, and like just fucking wild, all action.
Ty made a good point. Could Sabu have been hurt there? Because I don't know, that finish was a little flat to me. I didn't expect him to win off of that.
Yeah, for the amount that they did, I mean, dude, he kind of landed Sabu on his head on the previous.
The fisherman?
Dude, when they showed the replay of it,
Well, Sabu wasn't jumping.
it was like a DDT off the top
Well, his
turnbuckle.
feet were instead of being on top of the top rope, they were like inside, like
They were in the second rope.
yeah, which is
He needs Rob to really do
yeah,
the work
like it's
there.
kind of
Yeah.
hard to jump from that, like
Yeah.
get yourself over. I don't know why they were doing it like that.
I don't
Yeah, and he
either.
landed on like straight on his head, and
And wait a
then
minute.
the springboard moonsault for the finish. Like I was kind of like, could Sabu have been like hurt after that? Because like you said, like
I mean, they went like 20 minutes in this,
I mean,
right?
dude, he didn't move.
How
How long did this one go, Alice?
Sabu didn't move for like 30 seconds.
He did not.
He's so tough.
18 minutes.
18? Okay.
Yeah.
I
the
really
finish was
love
just kind of out of nowhere. For
I
me,
love
that
this
time.
match though. I'm gonna go 4 stars for it. Ollie, what do you give this one?
Yeah, I'm giving it 4 because I thought the finish could have been a little bit better. I mean, obviously, if somebody's hurt and you have to go home early, you know, things happen. But
And I think the problem with matches like this, that are like if you just went to like maybe the Fisherman Buster as a finish, it would have been better. But it's like, what do you end it on after you've done all this?
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of the struggle with some of these matches.
That would have been a better finisher than the split legging to me.
I agree. Like, I wish that was the finish, but I still love the work too. I'm with you with the 4. Hack, what do you give this one?
Sha 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 sha.
5 shots again? Man, this is a great show. I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of this one too. Ty, what do you give it?
Yeah, I'm going for it. Not much wrestling in this, but
No.
if you're looking at this match, I mean, Sabu's to me is the most innovative wrestler that there has been. But if you're watching this match in 1996, there's nobody doing these matches. I mean, maybe a couple in Japan,
that's it.
but like if you're in the United States and you're watching that match in 1996, like these dudes are doing things that are just unheard of. Like I said, there's no real like super structural professional wrestling going on, but the spots that these guys put on are just unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's certainly for 1996 and even in 2025, man, fucking love it.
Right.
After the match, both guys were down, and then Sabu walks without shaking hands, and then Heyman gets him back in the ring, and then Rob got on the mic. Not only do I not respect you, but you're a piece of shit. And he throws the mic at him.
Dude, I was sitting there because Sabu had the mic. I was like, is Sabu going to talk?
He just said respect.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. I was like, is Sabu going to talk here? Like, I never heard Sabu talk. Like, but it was like so weird.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like you said, he was just like, yeah, respect.
So that was that. Up next was the main event. This is Brian Lee and the Eliminators taking on Tommy Dreamer with the Gangstas.
Can we just skip this to the end?
I mean, there's just brawling. It's your typical garbage ECW brawl match. I did think that Brian Lee and Tommy Dreamer had some really good chemistry in the ring together.
I'm really surprised that this closed.
After everything we've just seen, this is what you choose to end the show on. Like, I like, this is a great show, but I mean, you know, like, I could have picked like 3 other matches on the show to close it out besides this. I mean, they're super over. I'll give them that. And you know, the Eliminators and the Gangstas. I mean, heck, they're 2 of the most over acts in the company. And Dreamer's super
Yeah,
over.
but I don't know how you back up from that to go into another match when we don't have like intermissions and the girls' matches and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess the chaos that ensues after, like, during that match, I guess it's hard to...
Yeah, you can't. I don't know. You
Can't rein it in.
And then just go out and do something else. Well, I could follow that easily, but
I mean, you certainly could have with
Just
your
saying.
match, but I mean, this is just a wild brawl. They do so much shit in this that it's
Yeah,
kind
the
of hard
best
to even.
spot is the fucking...
What?
Stevie getting drug out by his nutsack.
Oh, by Beulah and Kimona, which is
Yeah.
fucking great. After he super kicked Dreamer in the back of the head.
dude, Kimona had his nuts in her hand.
Literally dragging him by his nutsack, like, down the aisle, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, well, he's in his
Stevie, another great.
he's in his underwear because he threw his jean shorts into the crowd before the match with
the Daisy
Raven.
Dukes.
I know as
The
if there
Daisy
was any
Dukes.
difference between underwear
Yeah.
and the jean shorts.
I know, but the underwear is better for the ball spot.
It is. So it played into the show for the ball spot there.
Lucky Stevie.
They hand.
I never even thought I would have came. I probably would have contained myself.
That's what I'm saying.
Would have been the third big Woody of the night.
They hand Dreamer a cinder block for the one that he took earlier in the match, and he nailed the chair shot on Brian
nice.
Lee. And then he added a pile driver, and he sets up a table. And man, they DDT Saturn off the top rope through a table, which was fucking wild. I love that.
Good bump.
Cronus made the save for that. I didn't know how that wasn't the finish. Like a top rope DDT through a table is not the finish. And then New Jack did the
Well,
one.
it's not like somebody's kicking out of it. He's getting saved.
He's getting saved. True. That's a good point, Ollie. New Jack then added the 187 chair dive, and that was the finish. The Gangstas pinned the Eliminators to set up a match there. This was just an absolute garbage ECW brawl. It's just a mess. I mean, there's a couple cool spots in there in between, but it's not really anything that we can like review really. So I'm gonna give it, I don't know, a 1.5 for the nut grab. I'll give it. Ollie, what do you give it?
I'm giving it 2.5 because I mean, all the guys in it, and it's your typical fucking New Jack brawl that always has something going on, and it's always exciting. So 2.5 it is.
Hack.
Sha.
5 again.
A lot of 5s out
Jesus
here today.
Christ, dude. This is like the greatest show of all time. It's like better than that AEW pay-per-view we watched a couple months ago.
No, that was a pretty good paper. Osprey and his boy in the main.
Yeah. Ty, what do you give it?
I'm giving it 5 because Stevie didn't pop a Woody. Straight up. I don't know. I mean, I got Buell and Kimona grabbing my junk. I don't know how. Unless he duct tape his shit to his body. I don't know how that's fucking not happening.
Overall, I thought that the show absolutely rocked. If you guys have never seen this one, you definitely want to check out the show.
Yeah, this is one one of the few ones from the 90s that we watched I would actually recommend watching.
See, even Ollie liked it, and it's old wrestling, so
You
that's
definitely gotta watch it.
That's actually something.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, and like I said, that Hack match, it's either a top 5, top 10 Sandman match.
Especially if you love Hack.
If you love Hack, which you're listening to this and you do, you got to check this match out.
That loser.
That loser. We got to watch his shitty match of his to balance us out next
He
week.
made Anthony look good.
No, that does fucking humble me when I see a bad match.
No, I know. Last week,
I know, but I don't get too high over a good match.
no, but you hated yourself last week.
fuck
You
me.
hated
No,
it.
but you got to be feeling real good
Yeah.
after this
Dude,
week.
when I
After
saw
the
him,
redemption.
I jerked off right after that.
Yeah, I'm
Made
glad.
myself feel a little better.
Are you sure you weren't paused on Kimona and Bueller? Was that the thing?
Next week on the show, we are covering WWE Backlash from St. Louis. We're going to be breaking down the latest WWE pay-per-view. You got John Cena and Randy
Cena,
Orton.
baby!
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see. This show's going to come out afterwards, so we'll be covering that one on the show next week. As always, send in listener questions to sandmanpod@gmail.com. Please leave a name and a town. That's all Hack ever asks
We
for.
better have some good ones this week.
We do. Owen from Wisconsin writes in,
The cheesehead.
"What's up, boys? Love the double show. Do we think Jade could hit the pump kick on the Invisible Man?"
Nope. Even if he was a midget. That's a great question.
That was good.
I knew that would pop everybody.
That's fucking good. And probably not.
He said, "Speaking of wrestlers not improving over time, I'm a college football coach, and obviously developing players is part of the job. You work on parts of their game they aren't strong enough on and continue to improve them until they're good enough for their teammates to depend on them. Hack mentioned Bobby Lashley a couple weeks ago as someone who, after nearly 20 years, has finally gotten almost passable at some aspects of his work. Is there ever any real animosity or professional frustration with other workers when they have a glaring weakness and either don't improve it or seemingly don't care enough to try? Has Hack had any situations where it was addressed with another worker? Can you fucking get better at this or figure it out? Thanks for taking my question."
Nah, because I didn't care. I'm not expending my energy on other people. You know what I'm saying? Unless I was in a program with them or something like that. But, yes, there's tons of freaking professional animosity if you think you're a better worker than 70% of the guys on your roster and you're not getting a push. Yeah, there's animosity.
So there's a lot of resentment.
Right, the Jane, perfect example.
But then people who clearly aren't as good as workers are getting a super push that obviously could play into
Same
factor.
thing.
And
Shane
it's-
Douglas hating you.
Shut up!
Ollie pointed right to Hack.
Oh, dude, what are you kidding me? All the guys from Alberta, Canada. No, Stu Harsham, they couldn't have been happy about me being drunk going out there being the most over guy in the company.
But
Yeah.
there's a difference between good worker and being over. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, like, money talks, you know?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, the guys that have been the most over ever in the business are the guys that ain't the greatest workers.
Yeah, sometimes
Typically,
that's the case.
They're just not.
I mean-
well, you got your Stone Cold, you got your Rock, but before that, no, I'm talking before that time. Now, you just got to be a worker, dude, at
Right.
any level.
There's no question. You have to be able to back it up
Right.
as a worker. You
Yeah,
have to.
you're not just getting over just because you look good.
Right. That the days of that are over. Like you got to be able to.
Yeah,
bring
it's like
it.
everybody looks good, dude. It's
Everybody
like,
looks good. And
Everybody do a million moves.
And everybody can work too. So like your work's got to be really really good.
And it's not like, you know, the land of the giants anymore.
So
You
look
know,
at the
like-
midgets. It's Cherry.
Great question, Owen. Up next is Darren from Grimsby in the UK.
Darren.
Crazy.
Good evening, everyone from jolly old England. Hope you guys are doing phenomenally well. I've been getting back to listening to the podcast religiously now as I've been slowly getting better in my personal life.
Thank you.
Also, I've been
Glad your personal life's going well.
Yes, sir.
I hope she makes you happy.
Happy to be alive, baby.
I've been promoting the podcast for you guys as much as I can. Thank you,
Nice.
Thank you.
man. I have a question for everyone this
Let me
week.
give you your address. Let me send you some flyers.
There you go. So he said, with ECW bringing in wrestlers from Japan back in the day, like Masato Tanaka, Hayabusa, and even Fujinami in the early days of the company, is there any Japanese wrestlers, past or present, that you feel would have done well in ECW? If so, who would you pick and why?
Well, Kanemaru came in and out. Obviously, the bomb match guy, Onita. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys over there that would have fit great.
Could you imagine Masawa or Kawada or Kenta Kobashi in ECW?
Oh man, what are you kidding me? We'd have been done. They'd have been running the company.
Could you imagine Jushin Liger?
I mean,
Seriously.
Hayabusa's
Hayabusa?
also a great example, and somebody even today probably. I mean, Okada would have been awesome.
Oh yeah, Okada, Tanahashi. I mean, those guys. But Ibushi.
Oh,
could you
Misawa.
imagine? Could you imagine Ibushi in an ECW match, like doing a balcony dive moonsault, like with Super Crazy?
No,
like,
I can see Misawa freaking belly to back and Mikey Whipwreck 37 times and then been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys used to drop you on your head. Oh my god. Suplexes in Japan were way different than they were in freaking the States.
I mean-
you got dropped on your head constantly on the belly to back.
man, I could. There's a litany of Japanese wrestlers who would have been awesome in ECW. Besides, like the Michinoku Pro guys who came over, and obviously, Masato Tanaka,
Dick Togo.
Taka Michinoku, and those guys. But yeah, there's so many guys who could have came over from Japan and been awesome and excelled in ECW because it was, it's translatable. It's it's getting your work over more than a character and going from there.
And the thing is, even if you didn't speak the same language, it would still work out because you're both good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great question there, Darren. Kobe from crusty Melbourne, Australia writes in.
Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah,
Hell
there
yeah.
we go. All right,
Love
some new-
Melbourne.
What's up, fellas? Love the show.
Thank you, man.
I wanted to know if Hack ever witnessed any off-screen fights between wrestlers during his career, and who's
Any what?
How much time you got, buddy?
any off-screen fights between wrestlers during his career.
Well, yeah, but it's more like, I don't know, it's more like I'm going to yell and there's going to be guys to break us up. You know what I'm saying? Then knockdown, drag-out brawls.
Okay, but nothing that you can remember between like brawl.
No knockdown, drag-out brawls.
Or you just get your ass kicked by the Bruise Brothers.
Yeah, you get beat up by the Bruce Brothers.
Thank God Jack saved me.
New Jack.
Jack, we love you, baby.
Didn't your New Jack get into it one time with like a bottle and
Threw a
stuff?
bottle at me. Guido was sitting at. We got to get Guido on to tell the story.
But
Didn't you say Batista and Booker fought in the back one time?
see, don't call him out.
No,
'cause
I didn't see it.
They did fight.
Yeah,
They did
but
fight.
I didn't see it.
And apparently, I believe Booker T apparently washed him.
Booker
Yeah,
gave
of
him the
course he
business.
would.
That's apparently
Just
the
like
case.
fucking, just like Kurt gave freaking what's his name the business
Brock.
before he was a freaking before he learned
Les-
MMA
Oh, okay.
on a plane.
Oh,
Gave
yeah.
him
He
business
took,
on a plane.
He took him down on the plane ride from hell, apparently. Yeah, but so no other wrestler fight.
Wow, thank God I wasn't on that.
Oh, geez, could you imagine what you would have done?
Hack and Flair.
Just having fucking both their dicks out. Jesus Christ!
Oh my
You would've
fucking God!
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what nonsense you would
Your
have done.
dick
on that.
definitely would have done the job the Flair's dick.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? I wouldn't even have gone out for the match. I would not.
Oh, God.
No, I'm good. I'm injured.
Johnny from San Antonio writes in.
Johnny!
What's good, Hack Clan? First off, I want to give Hack his flowers. Missy Hyatt 95-96 was one piece of ass.
Dude,
You got that right, Johnny.
Absolutely.
one note I missed tonight.
Okay.
When me, Scorp, and Missy come through the curtain, that is straight Hollywood right there. You ain't seeing three better looking people at that day and age coming through. You're just not, dude.
Himself over as better looking.
No, Scorp's a great looking guy. Look at me, dude. I'm a great looking guy.
Scorp's got the hat, the shades,
No,
the
I
jacket.
know.
the-
You guys were cool.
It was Hollywood, dude. That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, God damn, we look good.
Oh, it was a great crew. Like, it was a great crew. I will put you up for that. Yeah.
Stevie, Meanie, and Raven are they were
Miss
good looking.
Patricia.
That was Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood grunge.
Tip of the cap.
There you
King.
go. I like that, Hollywood grudge. That's a great word.
He also said Beastmaster Francine might be my favorite Franny era, if I'm being honest. The match was alright too, other than Pitbull 2 dropping you on your neck on that corner suplex spot. This match was better than alright, Johnny, let's be honest. Speaking of number 2, and the offer you gave him after the match, did he expect any type of favors from Missy in the back, like he did when he thought Francine, that was her role as a manager?
I knew he was going there. I knew he was going there.
Anytime I see the Pitbulls, I'm reminded of that story you told. Does Hack have any other funny Pitbull number 2 stories?
Yeah, but they're all drug stories.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell
Yeah,
them.
okay. Also, everything in me wants to be excited about the Pickens trade, but I have my doubts about accurately getting the ball to him. If that offensive line we drafted pans out, we might be slugging out in the NFC East. You're right, Johnny.
I don't know. Pickens might go in there and stir some shit up.
Yeah, Pickens is going to cause a lot of drama in that
Dude,
locker
Pickens
room.
is going to
That
be giving the the angle slam to Dak as soon as he
I
doesn't
saw you
get to
post that.
fucking 5 targets.
That locker room needs that.
You kind of do a little shake
That
up.
locker room needs a fucking shake-up, dude. It should have been Dak going.
Well, for a 3rd and a 6th, what they gave up, I mean, I think it's a good trade for the
But he's
Cowboys.
also in the last year of his deal, so he might be on his best behavior. You might get
Right.
the best out of Pickens.
Right.
And he
So-
averages 50 catches, 900 yards a season.
He's a good player. I love Pickens.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
pissed that I can't cheer for him now.
No.
He's my favorite fucking psychopath in the NFL.
Yeah, well, I hope it does terrible, Johnny. There you go. Heart Attack Rick writes in,
Rick 8.
what's up, Hack Corn and the little poppers and the big tub of extra butter? That's
Oh my
comes up
God,
with
that
his Tasha
that
Hack.
should be our new opening.
a good point.
I hope it's not duck butter.
He said, hit the gym double time 2 days in a row, and I just got back from Pittsburgh.
Nice, good job.
Good work. Keep it up.
I just got back from seeing Pittsburgh, seeing the 40 Years of Foley tour show. That's awesome, man.
let us
I'd
know.
love to ask him about it.
Yeah.
I've seen Mick Foley do his like live act, stand-up kind of thing before. It was really, really good, so I'm sure he killed it there. All I have to say about this week's pay-per-view is, holy fuck, Hack lasted half an hour in the ring. How many 8 balls did that take? I give this pay-per-view a Stevie Richards clear as day, shaking and jiving all over the place boner out of one Bubba Woody. As always, blah, 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 best podcast. Thank you, Rick.
96, I wasn't snorting coke or snorting 80s before matches.
There you go, Rick. He's being honest with
early.
you. None.
So what, you were just drinking?
Just drinking.
Just high off that missy pussy.
And straight,
Well, I
love,
ain't smoking pot, obviously.
and straight
yeah.
love of the game of the business, too, because that was a fucking
For the love
awesome
of the
match.
game, Kevin Costner.
That's true. You can see it's not in your eyes yet.
Yeah, it's on your eyes. Eric from Percy, Pennsylvania writes in.
Percocet, Pennsylvania?
Percocet.
Percy. Hello and good morning, Bob Hackland and the rest of the Pecan Sandies.
I love it how everybody's got
Everybody's-
We gotta have a show of all the.
I know, we gotta start writing down these
we
fucking
need
The
to
Mount
start taking
Rushmore
notes.
of
Give it-
fucking-
Yeah, we do.
We need to start taking notes. I was trying to imagine something recently and realized it might take a good topic for an episode, so I figured I'd throw it your way. If you had a Dr. Frankenstein ability to put together the perfect worker out of anyone who's been in ECW, whose talents and abilities would you take? Like size, look, speed, mic work, moveset.
All right, easy. I want Rey Mysterio's face.
Rey Mysterio's face,
We've never
which is
seen it.
hidden. Yes.
Well, afterwards we've seen it.
So you're taking a guy who's most known for being masked. That's the first thing you can think of is Rey Mysterio's face.
The masked guy.
He's the best looking dude. He gets some more pussy than anybody in the business ever.
Yeah, but he had a gas mask
There's
on
no
too.
one else's face that you can think of besides Rey Mysterio.
Mine.
That's we're taking your face.
All right,
Duke
moveset,
Nukem.
his skills, everything
Yeah.
like that. Ray's face.
Yeah, Rey's face is the first thing you can think of, not like Shane
Yes,
Douglas's
if I
mic
was
work.
building a wrestler, I start with the face.
Let's start
Scorpio's
with-
cock.
Yes.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, I got Test body. My face, Test body. Oh my God.
Main event.
I would have never turned into a wrestler. I'd still be a Chippendale. If I had scored fucking God. I mean, like on my 39th year in Chippendale.
Hat coming out in the fucking Chippendale outfit.
Oh, dude, I should do that. I would love to get the cuffs and collars back on for one last time.
We should
I
have.
can't believe I just said it like that.
I'll tell you what.
We should have did that in
We
Vegas.
should get. I know.
I'll tell you what. Fuck like
Halloween, baby.
No. You know, like Sabu's last match. No, we need Sandman's last dance, and it needs to
Me and Ghana.
My last
It needs to be.
We might have got that at
WrestleMania
WrestleMania
next year.
at Bully's fucking party.
Yeah, the last dance.
Yeah, dance off. You and the
Bourbon
Invisible Man.
Street.
Bourbon Street. Find us next year, April. Find us.
Sandman's last
Sandman's
dance.
last dance.
Oh my God, I gotta lose some weight.
Joey Janela's spring break, baby.
I
There you
gotta
go,
lose some
Joey.
weight,
Put
bad.
it on.
Hey, can somebody order me some Ozempic right now?
There you go.
You'd look like the fucking stripper dude that fucking WWE ECW thing came out to.
The guy that I beat up?
Yes.
He
that
was a
fucking-
writer, and he wanted to do it. It was all his idea.
He put himself over as that.
That'd
huh?
be you with that
As being
gut
a
out
fat
there.
fuck there.
Yeah. Okay. Up next,
That dude was a great guy.
Kevin from Dayton.
He was. I like that guy.
Great guy.
Great guy. Kevin from Dayton, Ohio writes in, "What's up, hacking fellas? Keep up the great work. Not so much of a question this week, but wanted to give Rhino his just due.
He deserves it.
Saw him on Dynamite taking on Will Ospreay. It was Nick Wayne. And Rhino... he's making fun
Was
of
that
you.
a shot at me?
Yeah, he's taking a shot at you.
All right. I actually got it. It almost went over my head. But I saw Ali pop. I'm like, wait a minute.
Rhino has now wrestled for WWE, WCW, ECW, NWA, TNA, Ring of Honor, AEW, AAA, New Japan Wrestling, Ring of Honor, GCW, NXT, OVW, and countless other feds. The man has been in the business for 30 years. Shouts out to Rhino. Let's hope he has one more gore through a table left in him for hack. Keep the shows coming. Thank you, Kevin. That's
Okay,
a
the
great
reason
point.
why Rhino was so over is because I gave him his finish.
move. Knew that was coming. He worked in WCW.
Yeah, apparently he's like a
Yeah.
job guy back in the day. But that's all. That's so cool that he's had the career to do to hit all the majors in the U.S. like
Go
that.
ahead. You're
Not to
welcome.
mention all those other companies. Like that's so fucking awesome, man. Shouts out to Rhino. That is
We were
really
just
cool.
talking about him last night, and Hack was telling us about how he's got his marinas in Detroit and how he loves
Dude, he's
his
got
everything.
2 marinas now. He's called Big Daddy something.
In Detroit, he's
It's
known
a
as
Big
Big
Daddy's
Daddy.
Marina or something like
Did
that.
he finally get to text you, get your number and everything?
Yeah, well, yeah, he texted me. He was on a plane. I don't know. He said he was reading something on my my ex or something.
He was
like
hitting us up on the Sandman Pod Twitter when I sent it to you.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure you got in touch with that. That's awesome. Shouts out to Rhino. Not a
Yeah,
question.
dude, good for him, man. Getting on fucking AEW. I didn't get to see the match.
He
but I
deserves
saw
more.
that He's on it.
He does.
and-
He's awesome.
He deserves more.
Complete-
Like a WWE, like he should have had a WWE run.
He did. He got like the U.S. title there. I feel like he had a little bit of a run. He had a lot of years in the company, but they never really went like all the way on him because I don't think he had the size that they wanted.
I mean, he's Braun Breaker before Braun Breaker, kind of.
Totally.
He's way taller.
I don't know. Shout out to Rhino. Just leave my mom out of this now.
Yeah. None of that, Rhino.
Love you, Rhino.
Next week on the show, WWE Backlash. But before we go, Hack, as always, the Kate of the Week and the Toast of the Week.
I got nothing.
Loser!
Well, put over yourself at least. I mean, Jesus Christ, give you nothing. You don't think...
No, I got nothing. That's
got-
over. That's done with.
All right, guys.
right.
Next week, Backlash.
Peace.
Ain't it foggy outside?